Hello, Lost Gemini. Gamer Wally, hi. Yes, you are first, Lost Gemini. Opsa Wally, hello. Coda, hi. Hello, Prime. Hello, Songale. Finish your profile picture? Nice. Hello, sweetheart. I haven't appeared in a bit, but I'm alive. Yeah, you haven't been here in a while. It's good to see you. Oh, hello, Sailor Wally. I've been busy. Oh, did you enjoy the FNAF movie, Lost Gemini? I'm in another state. Oh, nice. Yes, I loved it so much. That's good to hear. Although, when I'm here for what reviews, apparently it wasn't all too scary. Would you consider it scary, Lost Gemini? Well, no, it wasn't that scary. Sorry, I went AFK for a bit. I did get jump scared by the balloon boy. Twice. The thing about FNAF, what scares you is the quiet room when you're alone in from the game. But when it's the movie, the fear factor goes away. You know, unless you play Paranormal Activity 1. You hate Balloon Boy. Hello, Barnaby. Guess I'm being called Raspberry now. Oh, okay. Is that a bad thing? Oh, hey, Annie. Boom Boy is also so annoying, that jerk. Your flashlight. Well, at least I'm glad the fans like it. Although I guess can't be the same for those who are just curious watching the movie, were left completely confused. Hello, Julie. Joyful. Hello, Stephanie. Please don't mention Daddy? Dee? I don't know who that is, but okay. Tomorrow I have school. I also have school. How are you doing, Alice? I'm doing good. At least in the movie, they changed up some things from the game lore, so anyone can go and see it and understand the story. I don't know, that's not... I don't know, I looked at a bunch of different reviews to see how it did. Those who were not a part of the fandom seemingly were left confused for the most part. While people who are fans and have played the games said it was left understanding. So I'm not too sure. I'm not a FNAF person myself. I only have an extreme basic understanding of the lore. Even then, I can't say my knowledge is good. Hey, silly little guy. But I do know MathPad was in there, so that was neat. I'm happy he got to take part in the movie. He's the only reason why I have some sort of knowledge on the lore. I was screaming. Am I doing good? What is happening? I have to go to school, but I need sleep. Okay, Annie left. I didn't notice. I'm dying from panic because someone I didn't like is back again. Oh, sorry to hear that. Hello, Casey99. Did you see what I done hours ago with Millie? Yeah, I saw on Instagram, yeah? It was very adorable. Wolfhard, sorry when I'm late. It's okay. Apparently YouTube is just not good at notifying people. Wait, where are you though? Oh yeah, guys, did any of you Hell of a Boss fans see the new episode today? Oh, hi, Pride Squad. Coda. Yeah, I loved it so much. It was pretty good. Yeah, I liked it a lot. Hello, Snowy Wolf. What boss fan? Hell of a Boss by Vivzipop. Just popping in hi. Hi, Webby. I never watched it. Okay, well, it's a fun little show, but there is a lot of adult jokes and cursing, so if it's not your forte, that's fine. The green guy reminded me of Howdy with the forearms. So what are you doing, Alice? I'm trying to make a simple little shorts about my persona, which is this horse over here. Just wanting to take a Halloween picture with all her most current OCs. And she accidentally forgot to invite two. But Dolly, being the kind sheep she is, like, oh, I sent the invite. We're just waiting on you to summon everybody. And I'm like, oh yeah, and I'm just gonna do something stupid. I did not expect, for those who did watch Hell of a Boss, I did not expect Maman to have, like, an Aussie accent. At least I'm assuming that's an Aussie accent. I had 3 breakdowns. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. I hope you feel better. Hey Biggs, it's Neverland AU. What will my OC Ellie Sweetie Powers shall he have? Well, I'm not entirely sure, because I do know Captain Home will most definitely will influence the power to be something useless, interesting, but useless in terms of fighting prowess against him. I don't know, maybe... sorry, what was the name again? Ali? Did I say it right? I'm pretty sure I didn't. Can mimic? Because he's the one that's singing, yeah? I'm working on another amazing circus. Okay. I mean, if you think about it, Frank's power is to basically understand animals. You can't use that in a fight, but you can use it to get information one could guess. But it's not all that useful. Then you have Pan, who has the power of flight. Now on its own, you can't really do much other than maybe run away instead. Julie's power is basically just herself, but slightly stronger. And Sally basically glows and can be a walking heater. So it can be interesting, but yet it's not all that useful in terms of combat. Hello, Sonic Wally. Sorry I had to do something, but I did see the Helfabach account, and I thought the sisters were hot. I thought their song was pretty good. It was pretty good. I like their song. I think I like their song a little more than, darn it, I automatically forgot his name. Sad. Fizzarali, yeah, I think I like their song a little more than Fizzarali's, although Fizzarali's song was pretty good too. I'm planning on posting a rant on a dream I had a couple days ago. That was a continuation of the one I had 10 years ago. Interesting. So you tend to remember most of your dreams or only some of your dreams? I remember some of my dreams. Yeah, me too. I can only remember some of my dreams. And usually I don't have any context of like what's going on or why I'm doing certain things. It was a good dream. Oh, that's nice. I remember some of them, but I remember them decent well for a long time. Oh, okay. I had the weirdest dream today, but I can't remember it. Oh, that's a shame. Hey Pegasus, while me and my sister were walking, we saw a deer and a bunch of turkey vultures. Oh, nice! The only time I've ever seen deer is when I went to Japan, and I went to the Nara Shrine, where I got to feed some deers. And boy, they poop everywhere. I was trapped on an Jurassic Park takes place while the movie events were happening. That's scary. I'm going to leave for a bit. Alright, Webby. Healing or telekinesis would be interesting. I guess so. I guess healing would be good. So far, none of the neighbors have healers. The second one I had was a hedge maze with aliens from as well. There were other people in the maze as well. So guys, 2 more nights or days till Halloween. Why not play some spooky stories? Because that's what you do on for Halloween seasons. Give me a sec, guys. My friend Josie is a healer in Van Helsing AU. Oh, nice. Whoop. I just posted it if you're interested in reading it after stream. Okay. Why can't I click off? There it is. My costume is all set up and planned. Nice. Okay. Oh, yes, your fair friend on the stream, scary story time.
ZocDoc is a free...
A super overpowered power I can think of an ability to bend shape reality at their will. Okay. And I guess I'll be playing more scary stories often because since we are getting closer to Halloween, we might as well indulge in the spookiness. Hello, Ozzy.
Thank you so much for being here. Whether this is your first time or you're one of the brave souls who join us every week. We love that Friday the 13th falls in October this year, our spookiest month. Statistically, this is actually very rare. As others are gearing up for playful movie nights and superstitious tradition, we know the truth. We must be on the lookout for the darker side of Friday the 13th, the date that calls for the supernatural to reveal itself, a date that can make rational humans go insane, a time when nefarious spirits come out to do their evil bidding, a night that can be so unlucky it just might kill you. First, the sins of my mother. followed by a bad influence, then an unlucky rabbit's foot. Finally, in our featured story, a deadly past. So, want to hear something scary?
Making my OC's wedding outfits right now. Oh, nice.
Friday,
I actually
the
got a head out
13th.
right now, but I was stopped to
Just
say hi.
because you can
Alright, thanks
avoid
for
the
stopping by,
problem
Cut
for a
Strings
short
Wally.
while doesn't mean it won't haunt you forever. Like in this story inspired by Anonymous. Ominous clouds gathered in the sky that Friday the 13th. I begged my mother to let me stay home from school, anxiety gnawing at my insides. It was an unusual request for me. Typically, I loved school, but something about this particular day filled me with dread. My granddad, who was visiting, noticed my distress. He asked me gently why I didn't want to go to school. I took a deep breath and confessed the reason that had been haunting my thoughts. It's Friday the 13th,
I'm
I
outside
said,
with my dog
my
right now,
voice
but I'm still
trembling.
listening to the stream. Okay,
Terrible
have a fun
things
time with your
always happen
dog.
to me today.
Silly little guy.
My mother chuckled, dismissing my fears as childish imagination fueled by horror movies. It's just a day like any other, she insisted. Nothing to worry about. But Granddad, his eyes filled with a knowing intensity, leaned in closer, encouraging me to tell him everything. Reluctantly, I recounted the grim incidents that had happened on previous Friday the 13th. There was the time I got sick and missed my best friend's birthday party. Then came the memory of the car accident that had left me with a broken arm. I had to miss playing the entire baseball season. Most devastating of all was when our beloved dog, Chewy, passed away last Friday the 13th. My granddad listened in silence, absorbing each word. When I finished, he finally spoke, his voice laden with a grave solemnity. It's the curse of Amelia, he said, sending a shiver down my spine. He began to tell a dark tale that had been passed down through generations of our family. In 1685, there lived a young woman named Amelia. She had been orphaned when her mother, a healer in their small town, was
That my
accused of
parents need help
witchcraft
putting
and burned at the
sisters to sleep.
stake.
Okay.
Amelia had watched her mother die a horrific death, surrounded by the cheering townsfolk who had once sought her mother's healing remedies. After her mother's death, Amelia vowed to live a secluded life, steering clear of the cruel inhabitants. During her solitary walks into town, she noticed a young man, about her age, who always seemed to be watching her from afar. His friendly smile eventually disarmed her, and they exchanged glances and waves over the course of several months. One day, the young man approached her. He spoke of his beautiful garden, inviting her to visit
Your new
his home
profile
to see
picture
it
is
for
very
herself.
adorable, Gamer Wally.
Excited at the possibility of finally freeing
Hello,
herself
silly
from the
guy. You're
past
back
and moving
from
with her life,
taking care of your dog?
she agreed to meet him. They set a date for that Friday, the 13th. After meeting at their usual spot, the young man led Amelia to his house. However, when they arrived at the back of the property, Amelia was stunned. There were no vibrant flowers. Instead, the landscape consisted of barren rocks, dirt, and a large pile of logs. An unsettling feeling crept over her as the young man's friendly demeanor shifted. He suddenly grabbed her arm and dragged her toward the woodpile. Amelia's heart pounded in her chest as she realized his house looked eerily familiar. It was a house her mother had warned her to never enter, but she had never questioned why. The young man pushed open the creaking door and forcefully pushed Amelia inside. Terror coursed through Amelia as she cried out and struggled to break free from his grip. He remained silent, his eyes fixed upon her with a deranged expression. As despair took hold, Amelia realized this might be the end of her. He bound her tightly to a wooden log and lit a fire beneath her, the flames whipping around her flesh. Through her agonized screams, he revealed his true
Bye,
motive.
Sonic Wally.
Her mother, the healer, had been responsible for the death of his father during one of the lightning storms they claimed she had brought to the town. He believed Amelia deserved to die like her mother. No one wanted any witches in their town. Amelia's cries of pain eventually transformed into manic laughter as the fire consumed her. In her final moments, she uttered a chilling curse. A curse be unto you on every Friday the 13th for you, your offspring, and all future generations. Those were her last words, sealing a dreadful fate for the family yet to come. My granddad had long suspected that the young man in the story was our ancestor, passing down the curse from one generation to the next. He convinced my mother to allow me to stay home. We spent the day doing good deeds and acts of kindness, praying that the curse of Amelia would someday be lifted from our family, sparring future members from the horrors of that terrible day and allowing them to simply enjoy Friday the 13th. Does your family have any dark secrets in their past? Something terrible they're trying to hide from the world? How was the secret
Lady Allie will
uncovered?
grow big, but not too powerful. Healing sounds great, yeah.
Cold turkey may be great on sandwiches, but there's a better way to break your bad habits. We're not talking about some weird mind voodoo from your crazy neighbor or your friend that comes and / something. Change can usually be a good thing, but sometimes changing things up will literally kill you. Like in this story inspired by Hoy Hilder Frey. Kayla, Lynn, and Ellie were inseparable. They had a strong friendship and they spent almost every weekend together, sharing secrets and dreams. Then all of a
My
sudden,
big sister's
Lynn
birthday
couldn't
is on
stop
October
talking about a
31st,
new friend she
Halloween.
had made on her block.
Oh,
It
nice.
struck the others as odd because
She'll
Lynn
have
was
a
the
very
shyest among
spoopy
them.
birthday.
She was the type to stay in her comfort zone, not actively seeking new friends, especially from a different
I wish her a
school.
spoopy birthday.
Kayla and Ellie weren't particularly thrilled on adding a fourth member to their close-knit group. But when Lynn mentioned that Justine's parents were out of town and that they were all invited to her house for a Friday the 13th party, their excitement overshadowed any reservations they might have had. On that much anticipated evening, they all arrived at Justine's house ready for a fun night. They quickly settled in, watching a bunch of horror movies, munching on candy and popcorn, until the inevitable
Hello,
question
Riza.
arose. What should they do next?
Have you
It
heard
was
of
Justine who suggested
why
something more
Suki and
daring,
Mario and Sonic
summoning a ghost.
and
The
Olympic
idea
game
sent shivers
series?
down Lynn's spine,
Welcome Home,
her
Zayu,
face
are
turning
based
pale.
off
Her
your
hesitation was
future.
evident,
Oh,
but Kayla
okay.
and Ellie
That's
were
cool.
eager
I
for
never heard of
adventure
any of
and the
those
three
things.
outvoted her. Curiosity piqued.
By the
Kayla
way, I
asked how the
plan
game was played.
on wearing
Justine
the
smirked and
outfit I
cautioned
wore
them.
at the party I went for Halloween,
It's very
flip flops
dangerous.
instead of
But the
heels.
girls already
Okay,
huddled in a circle
nice.
weren't deterred.
I hear wearing
Justine
heels
moved
for a
with
long time really
precision,
might hurt.
as though she had performed this ritual
Hello,
before.
Emma.
She disturbed the candles, dimmed the lights, grabbed spices and matches, and began chanting words that were foreign to the others. Lynn trembled with fear, but Ellie was captivated, wanting to know how Justine had acquired so much information on the process. Justine brushed it off, claiming she had learned it from YouTube. However, the others suspected that Justine was lying, hiding something. As the chanting continued, nothing seemed to happen for a few tense moments. Then, abruptly, Lynn let out a blood-curdling scream, dropping her candle. In the dim light, Kayla leaned in closer to see what was happening to her friend. Lynn clutched her arm, and to their horror, a dark, inky liquid oozed from underneath her fingernails.
Yeah, I
Panicking,
like the heels,
Justine turned on the
but I
lights, breaking the
I would
circle,
perish
a
walking
step
around
she
in
wasn't
those.
supposed to take. Standing menacingly behind Lynn was a shadowy figure, so dark that its facial features were obscured. It reached out with a claw-like appendage, sinking them into Lynn's arm and leg. Kayla and Ellie screamed in terror while Justine desperately tried to push the figure away. Then, the figure's eyes opened, revealing a fiery red glow. Just as Justine reached for her phone to call the police, the sinister apparition vanished into the darkness. By the time help arrived at the house, Lynn had bled out. The once inseparable trio was down to two, and the remaining girls were shattered by this nightmarish event. 2 years passed, and Kayla finally mustered the courage to reach out to Ellie. Her heart ached with the need to reconnect with someone who had also experienced that horrific night. She called Ellie, and to her surprise, her friend picked up the first ring. Ellie had missed Kayla terribly, and the bond that had been fractured began to mend. Their next mission
I
was
would
to
never
reach out
wear
to
heel
Justine,
shoes 2 inches
but
or
when she
less.
didn't answer
That
her
is it.
phone, they felt an overwhelming concern.
My cat jumped on the counter
Fearing the
to lick
worst,
the bacon
Kayla and Ellie
grease
decided to visit her
from the
home.
BLT. Oh no.
When they arrived and rang the doorbell, Justine's mother answered. Worried and confused, Kayla asked, "Where's Justine?" Her mother's face
So
contorted
what
in
are you
anguish,
doing
and she uttered
before I
words that
came?
sent shivers down their
We're listening to
spines.
scary stories
She died
and
5
talking
years
about Hell of
ago.
a Boss and what we
Stunned
thought
and horrified, the girls
and our
struggled to
thoughts on the
process this
FNAF movie, I
revelation.
guess.
They had been in this
Other
house
than that, I
just
can't
2
say I
years
remember
ago.
much.
Suddenly, the truth dawned on them. Justine had apparently orchestrated the entire ghost summoning ordeal as a way to take Lynn with her to the other side, so she wouldn't have to be alone. Haunted by this revelation, Kayla and Ellie left the house. They had been unwittingly part of a macabre plan, one that would forever link them to the other side. Bound by the ghostly presence of Lynn and the entity that was Justine, they could only pray that neither would want more friends to join them. Have you ever had a scary supernatural experience at a sleepover party? Or while you were with your friends? Tell us your story by sending us an email at somethingscary@snarled.com. Have you ever wondered what happened to people who do bad things? Bad luck probably found them, like in this story inspired by anime warplays. The school bell rang on Friday afternoon,
What you
and so the
drawing?
mischief for
I'm
Dante, Clark,
drawing
and
my
Sully could
OC
finally
opening
begin.
a
They
rift
leaped onto their bikes,
to
ready
summon
to
her
terrorize the
creations
neighborhood. The
slash
date?
OCs.
It was, of course, Friday the 13th.
She's
A
ripping
day
reality apart
shrouded in
because she wants to
superstition,
take a
dark
Halloween
omens,
photo
and
with them all
chaos.
together.
Leaving a trail of dust behind them, the trio parked their
How are
bikes
you
at their
guys doing?
favorite
I'm
pizza
doing good,
joint,
Emma.
where they
Hi.
scarfed some slices, then continued on their reckless spree. They stole mailboxes,
I didn't cry
snuck
today.
up behind
Oop.
unsuspecting kids, and
I
unleashed
hope you feel better,
blood-curdling
Black Wolf.
screams that echoed through the quiet streets. The thrill of fear they instilled was intoxicating.
Man,
It was
I
almost as
can't
fun as
think of
kicking
anything to talk
houses at
about. It
Halloween.
feels like a crime to me. It's alright.
Just then, they stumbled upon a house with a large fall display of pumpkins, their eerie orange glow casting shadows on the
I
porch.
can't make a long
Dante and
comment.
Clark
Oh,
exchanged
I'm
looks,
sorry to hear
and
that.
their grins widened as they dared Sully to run up and smash
But if
them to bits.
you don't,
Sully,
if you
never
can't think
one
of
to
anything
back
to say,
down
you don't
from a
need to
dare,
talk.
accepted the
Sometimes just enjoying
challenge.
people's
He
company
took a
is
deep
nice.
breath and approached the house cautiously,
The main
well
power of
aware of the
OC is
motion sensor
summoning
light that guarded the
your
pumpkins.
OCs from all
He
kinds of
smashed a few,
dimensions. Yep.
reveling in the chaos. But as the pumpkins exploded into a mess of pulp and seeds, the motion sensor light blinked on. Suddenly, the
You're
front
making
door
a white
creaked
weapon
open,
out of a baby
revealing the
bottle.
darkness within. Fear surged through
Like
his veins
me,
upon
yeah.
hearing the sound of footsteps echoing within. The doorbell camera whirred to life, capturing his bewildered expression. A scream erupted from the house and chilled Sully's bones. In a panic, he turned to run.
No, YouTube won't let
Dante and
me.
Clark
Aw,
already
man.
vanished on their
That
bikes,
sucks.
their laughter following
I
them
think
down
it's
the
because
street,
the scary
leaving Sully
story
to
audio
face
is
the
making me
consequences
sleepy for some
alone.
reason.
Sully's bike was in full
Scary
view
stories
of the
hypnotize you to
streetlight.
sleep?
He couldn't risk collecting it,
That's
so
very
with
interesting.
no other option, he veered toward the nearby woods, seeking refuge in the darkness. He ran deep into the parkland, the trees swallowing him in shadow, his breathing ragged as he sprinted away from the house and the scream. Suddenly, his hood snagged on a branch, yanking him off his feet and sending him tumbling to the ground. Lying there, bruised and disoriented, Sully took deep breaths,
The new Hell of
gasping
a
for
Boss
air.
episode was
A
amazing to
rancid
watch. The
smell
scene
penetrated
where
his
Rosemary stood up
nostrils,
for
and he pawed at the
Fitzgerald
grass around
by
him.
revealing their relationship
To his
was very
surprise,
brave and
his
romantic.
fingers closed around something small
Yeah,
and
it was pretty
furry.
cute.
With trembling hands, he pulled it up. A rabbit's foot. Lucky, he thought. Lucky that he didn't get caught. Maybe the day was turning back around. He pocketed the rabbit's foot and stood up, brushing dirt and leaves from his clothes. Looking around, he realized he was totally lost in the dark woods. It was only a matter of time before his parents would find out and punish him. Hours later, Sully finally emerged, battered and muddy.
What's Hell of a
His skin
Boss?
covered in bites from
Hell of a
barks,
Boss is an
and
Adult
he was
Swim
sure he'd waded
series
through
created
poison
by
ivy.
Vivzipop on
His
YouTube.
bike was nowhere to be found. His parents, although
And I
happy he
don't
was
know
safe,
what's
were furious.
why
It
going to
grounded
try
him for the
more time?
foreseeable future.
Okay.
How could he be so careless? After a long, hot shower, Sully climbed into bed,
For some
his
reason, my
body
school
aching and his mind still
writes us up
consumed by
if
the
we
events of the
don't
Friday the
have
13th.
headphones, and I don't
He
have any
reached into his
headphones.
jeans pocket and pulled out
Yikes.
the rabbit's foot, falling asleep with
Hello,
the
Candy
grotesque
Dreams.
charm clutched to his hand. That night,
If
Sully's
you're
dreams were
under
twisted
16
and
gamer, I
terrifying.
would not watch
He
it.
was chased relentlessly through a nightmarish black hole, his limbs torn from his body by unseen forces. He awoke in a cold sweat, the rabbit's foot still inside his fist. Fearful and trembling, he decided it was time to get rid of the not-so-lucky, gross little trinket. But as he tossed the rabbit's foot away, it seemed to grow, sprouting fleshy appendages, a stomach, and much more. Sully watched in horror as the grotesque transformation continued. The rabbit's foot had become a nightmarish entity, his glassy stare fixed on him. Then, it was gone. The following night, Sully awoke to a chilling hiss, emanating from the air above him. He opened his eyes to find the rabbit's foot hovering, suspended by some invisible force. He followed its form up to the source, and there it was, an entire rabbit, grotesquely fused with the foot, its eyes piercing his soul. Before he could react, the abomination lunged at him, teeth bared and claws extended. Sully's screams of agony filled the room as the creature tore into his flesh, maiming him in a gruesome frenzy. As the darkness closed in around him, Sully
I
realized the
posted
horrifying
a lot
truth.
over a weekend,
He had become
so
the
my friends
unlucky
won't
victim
get
of the
bored
cursed
while I
rabbit's
don't.
foot.
Okay.
There was no escape from the torment that awaited him. On that fateful Friday the 13th, Sully's luck had run out, and now this loathsome entity would haunt and torture him for eternity.
Nice, Lisa.
Have you ever behaved poorly and
I feel
regretted
like
your
an ice cube.
actions?
You're cold?
Has karma ever come to find you? Or did you get away with your bad deeds unscathed?
If you have a friend who does disappointing acts
story,
on
join
you,
my co-host Stephanie
you
as she
can
tells the
name
tale
them
of
in your phone
reincarnation inspired
contacts.
by Janine Pipe and now animated over on youtube.com/snarled.
Reincarnation is an intriguing belief held by many, suggesting that dreams and deja vu may be fragments of memories from our past lives.
Goodbye.
While the possibility is
Bye, Candy
debatable,
Dreams.
there are fascinating accounts of individuals
I'm
vividly
in the
recollecting
car.
their own past lives, making one wonder if they ever had a past life. We're a really tight-knit family. It's myself, my little sister Tess, our mom, and our grandma. Our house is filled with so much love from both our mom and grandma. We're also regular churchgoers. Don't get me wrong though, Tess and I had to go back in the day, but now that I'm older, I can stay home and take care of both of us. We get to decide if we want to go or not, which is nice because I'm not always up for it. And one day, I got to be home alone with Tess and learned about her past lives. Well, a lot of it just seemed like stuff she had seen on TV, or maybe she had learned it at school. For example, she had stories like riding in a wagon drawn by horses while wearing a yellow dress, walking through the streets of Victorian London, sitting in front of a small black and white TV as she watched the incredible moon landing unfold before her eyes. All these things were impressively descriptive, and yet not impossible for a first grader to know about. And while I might have been somewhat open-minded, we did not tell my mom and gran in case they didn't approve or didn't believe her. But things started seeping in into her daily life, like referring to something in a really old-fashioned way. She asked to use the loo at school. She tried to make a cup of tea with milk, which might be fine and all, except these are expressions that are commonly associated with British culture, which we are
Various
not.
reason because we
Sometimes she
have
said weird
pure
stuff, and my mom told her off. But when she
air
began
and a
sweet
lot of
talking in
moisture
Dutch,
hitting my
they
area.
took a notice.
Okay.
Especially when Gran told us
In
we
my
had Dutch
school, everyone
heritage.
leaves me out
Tess
of
looked
games
right at
and
Mom and Gran
parties.
and told them
This is the
straight
only
up
place
she
I feel
died many
included.
times before, and in one
I'm
of her
sorry to
past
hear that,
lives,
Gamer
she
Wally.
lived in Holland with our ancestors. Now,
But I'm
this was
glad
all
you can
rather
find solace here.
entertaining, strange, and yet innocent until that day, Friday the 13th. Tess had been studying superstitions at school, and when she got home, she couldn't wait to ask us about black cats and knocking on wood. We were all sitting at the kitchen table enjoying a meal of spaghetti. Tess was also eating all the garlic bread and not sharing. So Mom told her to pass it around and offer some to Gran. Gran shook her head and smiled, joking that maybe her inability to eat garlic wasn't because of indigestion, but because she might be a vampire. Mom laughed and asked Tess if she had learned about that superstition too. We were expecting Tess to laugh along, but instead, she had a very weird, serious look on her face. No, Granny, you can't eat garlic because it reminds you of when I was in your tummy. I burst out laughing at the odd statement, but Mom and Gran were shocked. What do you mean, Tess? Asked Mom. You were never in Gran's tummy. You were in mine because I'm your mommy. Tess looked at Mom like she was dense. Gran stayed silent. I know that, Mommy, but before I was in your tummy, I was in Gran's tummy. But I was going to be a boy, so I choked and died. Then Gran nearly died too, so I had to wait quite a while before I could go into your tummy. Gran let out a sob as Mom's eyes grew wide with fear. Later, Mom told me
It
something that
is
only
Orton.
a handful of
Who
people knew.
liked the Hellboss
About
episode?
25 years
I
ago,
thought it was
Gran had
fun. It
fallen
was a fun little
pregnant.
episode.
It had been a miracle since after Mom had been born, Gran and Grandpa had not been able to conceive again. But in a tragic turn of events, around 8 months into the pregnancy, the baby had died. The umbilical cord had wrapped around its neck, and the baby had choked in the womb. The surgery after had complications, and Gran had flatlined for a few minutes. It had
Heading
all been
out.
very traumatic
Bye.
and had never
Bye,
really
Courtney
been spoken of
Fox.
since. And Gran had never told anyone that the baby had been a boy, not even my mom. There was no way Tess could have known about this, and it seems completely impossible that a 6-year-old would make it up. And the even weirder thing, the due date of that baby, 15 years before, had been Friday the 13th.
This week's podcast stories were edited by Sarah Lukasiewicz, Janine Pipe, and Stephanie
I
Strange.
was like, no, wait.
Narration
Okay.
by Blair Bathory and Stephanie Strange. Audio edited and mixed by Fitz. Additional audio editing by Calvin Linderman. Art and graphics by Irma Richardson. Produced by Anna Villalobos. Executive produced by Gail Gilman. Music by Sapphire Sindalo.
I want ice cream.
Zocdoc.
We'll just go back to... Oh, my screen keeps pausing. I want to watch the stream. Wi-Fi issues. Oops. I want to open a whiteboard. at some point, because it would be fun, lol. Oh, like those online whiteboards where you can draw with people around online too? Like Magma, I think it's what it's called. Oh, nice. That'd be fun. Let's see if I can show it here. Give me a sec, guys, and see if I can get my OBS to cooperate with me. I think it seems cool, but I think I prefer Whiteboard Fox. What? Come on. Why aren't you working? Man, it ain't working. Come on. Well, essentially, I'm creating frames for a small TikTok. Gotta go. Bye, Gamer Wally. Of my OC, my persona, which is a horse, Pegasus person. Trying to invite all her most recent OCs for a Halloween photo, but she forgot to invite some of them. So she's like, oh yeah, I gotta do this before they can come, and just rips a hole in the fabric of space and time to bring her OCs to this one spot just to take a picture. I like it better right now. I might mess around with Magma to figure it out more. Look, a crack in reality, guys. How if I keep leaving on accident? I don't know what you're doing to accidentally leave. Nothing beats a crack in reality you made just to bring your OCs for a picture. Yeah, I am gonna bring the Digital Circus character Ray, so she's like, where am I? Why am I here? For a picture, and just slaps a small costume on them. It's like, don't worry, I'll send you back. Stream crashed for a sec, I'm back. Alright. Oops. I didn't bring you guys back here, sorry. Cocoa Flower Wolf. I am new to the last stream. Hello, Cocoa Flower. Welcome to the stream. Just chill and relax, and the stream is surprisingly chill right now. Sometimes it's very chaotic, but I hope you have a wonderful time. Allie brings magic tears to heal. Nice. Yo, we have a new roommate. Yep. I'm playing character Tinker while I'm making a story with Ellie. Nice. I don't know why, but the crack in the sky makes me think of Fortnite, and I what is it doing to me? I was not aware you did not like Fortnite that much. Hi, Kingsland Wally. Did any of you know you died in your past life? That's an interesting thought. I'm gonna say this right now. I cannot shade properly to save my life, so when I upload buffer, please do not point my failed shading. I know I am very self-conscious about it. It's okay. It takes practice. Oh, that's a cute photo, Ozzy. That's near past. Okay. Do you guys like my profile picture? Your profile picture is cute. I'm just eating dinner and watching the stream. Nice. How have y'all been? I've been good. Just slightly tired. But I hope to have a decent time on Halloween, even though I don't know what to expect. I have to go. Bye, Alice. Bye, Stephanie. I think it's time for scary story time.
Transgender. It's made very, very cool through the media.
Hello, I'm Blair Bathory, and this is the Something Scary podcast. Thank you so much for being here. Whether this is your first time,
Oh
or
shoot,
you're
I
one
laid
of the
down and
brave
now I can't get
souls
up.
who join us every
Oh boy.
week.
My
The
stomach has
4th
been
of
in
July
pain.
is Independence Day in America, and
If
while we can
you
all
have been having a
celebrate the
stomachache for
freedoms
20
and
hours, you
blessings
should
we
probably
have in
get
this
that checked
country,
out.
it doesn't come without great risk. In all different areas across our land, there dwell spirits and ghosts that tell the history of terrifying things that happen there. So be sure to be thankful for what you have, because you never know when the paranormal will strike, and life as you know it will be gone for good. First, 100 steps to death, followed by a sibling sacrifice. Then, pure evil, or just misunderstood. Finally, in our featured story, deadly music. But before we get to our stories, I
This
just
story
wanted to
is
say
scary.
that we would
Yeah, I
love
go
to
to
have you
Snarl
join
for
our
scary
Patreon.
stories sometimes.
We are primarily advertising dependent, but we would all like to be able to do fewer ads, and you can help make that happen by becoming a patron. Patrons get bonus episodes and access to patrons-only Discord. Most of all, you will help us keep doing all the work that we do. Visit patreon.com/snarled. So, want to hear something scary? Freedom or death? The supernatural world may hold secrets that we cannot escape,
I haven't had
no
water in
matter
the
how
past
hard
20
we
hours
try.
either.
Like in this story inspired by Asa. Madeline's summer in the town of Brazil, Indiana had been a dull
That's not
affair
good.
so far.
Black Wolf.
Dying for a little
And I just dropped
excitement,
out of school today.
she begged to join her older
Oh.
cousin Jordan and his friends in their late-night outings.
That's not good.
She knew they were getting into trouble and having fun, and she wanted in. However, Jordan thought his cousin was too young and inexperienced. He warned her that she couldn't handle the adventure. Determined to prove herself, Madeline pleaded with Jordan to let her hang out with them. After some thought, Jordan devised a challenge for her. She could accompany them only if she completed the notorious 100 Steps game in the eerie cemetery that was filled with gravestones dating back to the 1860s. Legend had it that anyone caught within its boundaries at the stroke of midnight had to climb the steps and count to 100. At that precise moment, the ghost of an undertaker would materialize, revealing a ghastly vision of the person's impending death. On the descent, the visitor must count the steps once more. If the number matched their initial count, the vision was deemed
I don't
false,
want to talk
and they
about.
could
I'm weird,
carry on
Emma.
as normal. But if the numbers didn't match... Uncertain about this challenge, Madeline hesitated before agreeing. However, Jordan's friend Zachary, who claimed to have successfully undertaken the stairs before, assured her that she shouldn't worry. He had been told he would die in a fire, yet he stood before her unscathed. Filled with a mix of anxiety about the cemetery and reassurance from Zachary, Madeline declared that she would go through with it. One night later that week, Jordan and his friends drove Madeline to the eerie cemetery, just moments before the clock struck midnight. Summoning her courage, she embarked on the daunting challenge. Each step she took was resolute, her mind dismissing the notion of supernatural interference. Yet as she climbed, the wind suddenly grew fierce, chilling the air around her, making it harder to reach the top. Finally, she made it to step 100. Her eyes became locked in a trance-like state. Panicked, she tried to turn to go back down the stairs, but her feet refused to cooperate. She was rooted to the spot. In that eerie moment, Madeline's worst fears materialized as she witnessed a haunting vision of her death. It appeared to her in a flash in the sky above her. Although the details were hazy, it looked like some type of horrific car accident. The vehicle had careened off the road, engulfed in flames. Terror seized her heart. Then an instant later, she was released. She dropped to her knees and
She's
tried to
gonna die.
orient herself. As
Sounds
soon as
like
her
it.
head cleared, she jumped up and quickly ran back down the steps, her mind racing with desperate thoughts of outwitting the unearthly forces. But they had other plans. Just as she reached the bottom, attempting to count ahead and evade the harbinger of doom, an invisible force violently shoved her to the ground. Disoriented and panic-stricken, Madeline realized she hadn't counted the same number of steps on her descent. Fear consumed her, and she frantically refused to enter the car with her cousin and his friends. She didn't want to die in a car accident or be the cause of their demise. The atmosphere grew thick with tension as Jordan and his friends exchanged bewildered glances. They pleaded with her to get in the car, not wanting to leave her in the creepy cemetery at night. Madeline's instincts, however, screamed at her to resist. Something was horribly wrong. After arguing to no avail, Jordan reluctantly drove off with his friends, insisting she walk, even if it took her all night. Madeline staggered home alone in the dark. Empty roads, her mind in a haze. She couldn't shake the eerie premonition of her death. Lost in her thoughts, Madeline didn't notice a car hurtling around the bend. It swerved uncontrollably, careening off the road and crashing to a halt against the trees. In a sudden surge of adrenaline, she snapped out of her daze and rushed to help the driver.
I gotta go.
But as she
Bye, Wolfheart.
approached, her heart sank. It was Zachary. He must have returned to check on her.
Yeah, I don't like magma. Oh, you
Overwhelmed by
can
remorse,
really jibe with it.
Madeline blamed herself for the tragic turn of events. She desperately tried to pull Zachary from the mangled car, but before she could succeed, the engine exploded in a fiery inferno. That devastating moment, both Madeline and Zachary met their untimely demise. The 100 Steps Cemetery had spoken its grim truth. The vision of death it had shown Madeline had come to pass, as it always did. Have you ever been involved in testing out a superstition? Did you witness a paranormal myth come true? If so, send us an email and tell us your story at somethingscary@snarled.com.
No.
Sometimes, when
It's
you're
time
willing to
for
make a
chaos.
sacrifice for someone you love, you don't consider the long-term damage you'll endure.
Yeah, they both
Like
died.
in this story inspired by Henny.
She tried to avoid fate, but
Jeannie had her travel pack
it
ready to go.
happened still.
It held the bare necessities. She had to keep it light. She ventured out into the vastness of the unforgiving landscape. The dry desert wind howled through the air of New Mexico. The scorching sun had long since set, leaving her to navigate the darkness with only one flashlight. She didn't want to risk losing the battery power on her cell phone. Not that there was any service anyway. She was far from civilization, surrounded by nothing but shifting dunes and prickly cacti. She was driven by a desperate need to find her missing brother, Miguel. And yet, the legend that plagued the desert plains weighed heavily on her mind. She could almost hear the name being whispered on the wind. A name that sent shivers down the spines of those who knew the tales of her. La Mala Hora. The entity was said to haunt the desolate roads, preying on lost souls. The terrifying stories passed down through generations warned against venturing alone into the desert after sunset, for encountering La Mala Hora would lead to madness and a slow, agonizing death. Miggs had disappeared several days before while exploring the abandoned ghost town that lay buried beneath the expansive sand dunes.
I'm now drinking water.
Jeannie had received
Nice.
an anonymous tip that he was
That
last
story
seen near
earlier.
an old crossroads deep
Was
in the
that like
desert.
Final Destination
She couldn't help but
movies?
think of the
I'm not too
crossroads
sure.
where the legend of La
Hello,
Mala
Nova.
Hora took place. Frightened but determined, Jeannie trudged through the shifting sands, her heart filled with worry for her brother's safety. The desert appeared to stretch on forever, its vastness seeming to swallow her whole. The eerie silence weighed heavy on her, broken only by the occasional howl of the wind. But her love for Miggs drove her forward, refusing to be deterred by fear. As she neared the crossroads, a sense of unease settled over her. The air felt charged, as if an unseen presence lurked just beyond her line of sight. Jeannie's hand trembled as she tightened her grip on the flashlight, the beam piercing through the darkness. Lighting up the night sky, it revealed the figure of a woman standing at the intersection. Jeannie's heart froze. She knew immediately it was La Mala Hora, the embodiment of her worst nightmares. The entity's eyes seemed to bore into Jeannie's soul, her presence suffocating. She felt her sanity slipping away, even as she wondered if what she was seeing was real, or just her mind playing tricks on her. But as La Mala Hora began to shift and contort into a mass of darkness, Jeannie knew this was really happening. Thankfully, the love of her brother gave her a fierce determination to survive. Summoning every ounce of courage, Jeannie tore her gaze away from the apparition and sprinted past the crossroads, her heart pounding on her chest. She could feel the pull of La Mala Hora's gaze
I
behind
better
her,
go soon,
but she
cause it's
refused
getting
to
late for me
succumb
and
to
high
its
school.
clutches.
Alright, solo guy.
Mig's life depended on her strength. Days turned into sleepless nights as Jeannie relentlessly searched for her brother, haunted by the encounter with La Mala Hora. The environment continually fought against her, with shifting dunes and deceptive mirages leading her in circles. But she refused to give up, clinging to the glimmer of hope that Miggs was still alive. Finally, in a forgotten corner of the ghost town, Jeannie discovered a hidden entrance to an underground cavern. Her heart raced as she descended into the depths, her flashlight piercing the darkness. And there, huddled in a corner, she found Miggs. He was weak and dehydrated with a busted ankle, but alive. She broke down in tears and held her brother, giving him what little water she had left. Jeannie told him about her run-in with La Malahora, explaining how the legend had nearly consumed her.
And
Nick's eyes widened with terror as he realized what his sister had endured to save him. They vowed to leave the desert and never look back.
But I hope you can find a school
the desert behind,
that you'll be happy and comfortable in.
Able to lean against his sister for support, they carried with them an appreciation for each other and a determination to never let the darkness claim them again. They safely arrived home and started on the healing journey of getting their bodies and minds back after the whole ordeal. But Jeannie's restless nights never ceased, forever haunted by that night.
In my school, there are 3
always
ghost
thinking
kids.
that things were moving or out of place.
That's their story.
Blaming La Malahora for messing with her. Jeannie is still alive today, proving the legend wrong. She didn't die. But on those dark, daunting nights when all she can see is the face of evil, sometimes she wishes she were dead. Have you ever been in a situation where you thought you lost your sibling or loved one? Would you endure the supernatural to get them back?
How come you weren't drinking water for 3 days?
You know that feeling you
Blackwolf?
get when you finally find the thing you've been searching for on the internet, and it has 5 stars? Oh, and it arrives in just 48 hours? Why is it that you can get the most random, wonderfully reviewed thing from around the world in just 2 days, but if you want to see a good doctor, it can take forever to get an appointment? Thankfully, there is a way. It's called ZocDoc, a place to find and book great doctors who actually have amazing reviews, many with appointments available within 24 hours. Using their free app that millions of users rely on, you can find the right doctor that meets your needs and fits your schedule. Book an appointment with a few taps in their app and start feeling better, faster with ZocDoc. It really couldn't be easier. Go to ZocDoc.com/something and download the ZocDoc app for free.
Don't do that to yourself,
and start your
not
search for a
drinking water for
top-rated
3
doctor
days.
today. Many are available within 24 hours. That's ZocDoc.com/something. ZocDoc.com/something.
Sometimes when you constantly condemn someone as wicked, instead of trying
Because
to understand them, they may eventually succumb to our terrible expectations.
can
Like in
survive
this
only
story
3 days
inspired by
without water.
Abigail. I grew up in New Hampshire with my mom and grandparents, and one summer, I couldn't seem to catch a break. It felt like a string of bad luck had latched onto me, refusing to let go.
Deny yourself water.
That's when my grandpop,
A person
didn't
can only
speak very
survive
much,
3
sat me
days,
down.
around 3
In a
days without
haunted
water.
voice, he told me that it wasn't just bad luck. It was the curse of Goody. I was terrified, not having a clue what he meant. He leaned in closer, his eyes filled with dread, and began to unravel a tale that had tormented Hampton for centuries. According to Grandpop, the curse of Goody Cole had cast its dark shadow upon our town since the 1600s. Eunice Goody Cole, a name etched into the Hamptons' history, was the woman no one dared to speak of. She held the dubious honor of being the only woman in our state's history to face not one, but 2 trials of witchcraft. It all began in the year 1656, when the first accusations came flying at her. Dark magic, unholy pacts with the devil, you name it, they accused her of it. The townsfolk, gripped by their fear of her wicked powers, wasted no time in holding a trial and declaring her guilty of the most perverse and abhorrent acts imaginable. She was sentenced to prison, but that was only the beginning of the nightmare. 15 years later, in 1671, Goody Cole found herself once again standing before the judgmental eyes of Hampton's residents. This time, the accusations were far graver. Fueled by the sinister notion that she had somehow eluded her previous punishment, she was accused of causing damage to people without even leaving her prison cell. The trial that unfolded was a macabre spectacle, witnesses recounting bone-chilling encounters and inexplicable occurrences that seemed to trail in Goody Cole's wake. And once again, the damning verdict deemed she was guilty sealing her gruesome fate. But even in death, they couldn't banish the alleged curse of Goody Cole. Her spirit was said to linger, a malignant presence that crept into every crack and crevice of our cursed town. People whispered in hushed tones, believing that she was the cause of the misfortunes that had plagued Hampton's citizens for the past 3 centuries. One harrowing incident, forever etched in our town's memory, occurred on a peaceful summer day. A boat filled with Hampton's residents, including my ancestor Abigail, embarked on a leisurely sail that really seemed to shake my grandpop. He said quite suddenly, the tranquility was shattered as the boat capsized, casting everyone aboard into the water. Panic and terror reigned as they struggled in vain against the rocky waters. Strangely, despite being within reach of the shore, not a single soul survived. The tragedy sent shockwaves through the community, and in their grief-stricken state, the accusatory fingers once again pointed at Goody Cole. Whispers spread like wildfire, claiming that she had cursed the ill-fated boat, stripping its passengers of their ability to swim. It was as if they had forgotten the very skill that had preserved their lives countless times before. The townsfolk, paralyzed by fear and consumed by grief, clung desperately to
If I
ancient
say
belief that
anything
Goody
else,
Cole's dark
I've been
powers
denied.
were to blame. They trembled at the mere
I
thought of
think
passing
you
by her
guys
old
are
house or even stepping on the
made me
land,
extremely worried.
terrified that her wrath could
If it's an
strike the
unhealthy
necks
habit
from well beyond the
that takes
grave.
an extreme, yeah, it
As
would
the
be
years
very worrying.
passed, the tales of Goody Cole grew more twisted and nightmarish. Her name became a symbol of terror, a specter that haunted the dreams of Hampton's residents. Bizarre happenings and tragic accidents were attributed to her malevolent, lingering spirit, strengthening the belief in her curse. But amidst the fear and dread, a few skeptical souls emerged. They dared to question whether Goody Cole truly held our town in her icy grip. They pondered if the legend had been fabricated, a collective fear that had birthed its own monstrous reality. Yet, even these doubters couldn't deny the palpable and chilling aura that hung over Hampton, the residual continuous presence of something otherworldly, lurking just beyond the veil of reality. The story of Goody Cole passed from parent to child, from generation to generation, becoming an inescapable part of our town's identity. The fear of her spectral presence had woven itself into the very fabric
Well,
of Hampton,
I'm no
an
doctor,
invisible
but
thread
if you're not
connecting
hungry,
us
don't
all.
force yourself to
And
eat,
as I
but
sat
make
there,
sure you do
listening
eat
to my
something if you're
grandpop's
not
terrifying
eating a whole
tale,
lot throughout the
I
day.
couldn't shake the feeling that the curse of Goody was far from over. It had sunk its
But
claws
not
deep
drinking
into our
water for 3
souls,
days is not
ready
good
to claim
whatsoever.
its next victim, me. I did a number of Google searches and found some books on dealing with spirits. I lit candles and read a note to Goody that I left out for her on an altar. I let her know I was sorry for what happened to her. I was sure had she not been attacked, she could have used her powers for good, to heal and help. My luck seemed to change after that. My mom said it was just a coincidence. But I have a feeling even though Goody let go of her hold on me, she was still looking for her next victim in Hampton. Maybe someone who wasn't so understanding. And their bad luck might just be their undoing. Have you ever felt like your fate was something worse than just plain old bad luck? What did you do to change your life around?
Trying a new art style. Okay, Ozzy.
In our final story,
Yeah, you can
join my
only survive
co-host
3 days without
Stephanie
water.
as she tells the tale of
Water
Centennial
is a
Hall
very
in
important
Nebraska,
resource.
written by Janine Pipe, and now animated over on youtube.com/snarled.
As the purpose of old buildings alters over time, remnants of the past tend to linger, evoking nostalgia, curiosity, or even traumatic emotions of the dead. This tale is inspired by true events. Callie was an art major who was fortunate enough to land an internship at Centennial Hall. This historic building was once a prestigious school, but is now a museum that beautifully showcases the rich history of the town. Seizing the opportunity to explore her passion for history and art, Callie eagerly committed herself to the role with unparalleled enthusiasm and determination to learn more. Callie enjoyed mundane tasks like taking inventory, but what she loved most was giving guided tours. There was something enchanting about the old museum, especially when it was hired as a venue for private events. Walking through the halls at night was a surreal experience. It was magical and sometimes a little spooky. Callie hadn't seen or felt anything herself, but she'd heard whispers upon entering an empty room and sensing a presence. This one time she heard about doors slamming and objects falling off shelves with no reasonable explanation. Being a skeptic, Callie laughed it off, not taking it seriously. That night, a local artist had hired the museum for a show. After spending all afternoon setting up, they finally welcomed guests as the sun was setting. Callie was working as a server to earn a little extra, passing out drinks and snacks to the crowd. As she was about to refill her tray, a woman tapped her on the arm. "Where is that music coming from? It's simply lovely," asked the woman. Callie frowned. She knew there wasn't any background noise playing because the artist had requested that they not play any sounds or music so that the potential buyers could chat easily about her pieces. But the woman was so adamant she heard a wind instrument coming from somewhere near the restrooms. Curious, Callie headed towards the old music hall to investigate, as maybe a trespasser managed to get in. As she walked away from the event, the faint sounds of classical notes occasionally drifted in and out of range. Confident that the music was coming from the music hall, she decided to open the door and take a peek. As she walked into the room, she realized that it was completely empty. There was neither any sound nor anyone present. It left her wondering where the mysterious music had come from. She was about to leave when something in the room crashed to the ground. Callie jumped and saw that one of the clarinets had fallen down from its display window. It was virtually impossible for that to happen, and yet there it was. She inched towards it, starting to feel some of the unease her colleagues had spoken of.
I've been venting too much right now.
As soon as she packed up the instrument, she was
It's
overcome
okay.
with
It's just,
extreme dizziness
again,
that
I'm
sent her
no
reeling.
therapist,
As she
and
fell to the ground, the music
I don't know how to
began
help
again,
people in this situation
this
other than
time
say,
echoing all around her
I hope
as
it
the
gets
room
better
began
for
to
you.
spin. As the music grew louder, Callie suddenly began to cough. What had started as a minor tickle in her throat quickly developed into violent choking, and she found herself gasping for air, unable to breathe. The music abruptly stopped, replacing the sound of her panicked wheezing. Fortunately, her supervisor burst into the room just in time, providing the much-needed help to evacuate her from the room. Once she was out of harm's way and able to catch her breath, she began to recount the experience, still in a state of shock and feeling very upset and frightened. "Ghost Girl strikes again," a colleague whispered among themselves as they listened. But soon Callie was told the shocking story of what happened in 1944. An unnamed girl who was a student at the once prestigious school had been murdered. A talented clarinist, she had been practicing for a recital when she began to choke and vomit, then dropped down dead. The reed in her instrument had been poisoned. When the building was closed as an educational facility and became a museum, her restless spirit apparently remained, and those who had witnessed her presence speculated she was seeking revenge. Many workers and visitors over the years had heard snippets of a clarinet playing in the old music hall, or had felt nauseous being there for no reason. No one could explain the terrifying encounter with the spirit Callie faced, and many were sad when she handed in her notice the next morning. But what they didn't know is that Callie's family has deep roots in Valentine. including ancestors who attended the school during the 1940s.
I hope things get better for you, Black Wolf.
After all, why else would she relive the tragedies of the spirit? She was convinced one of her ancestors was involved in a heinous crime, and that the vengeful spirit had given her a dose of karma. So with that, Callie left hoping to never return again for fear of any retaliation or what other secrets could be buried in Valentine.
This week's podcast stories were edited by Sarah Lukasiewicz, Janine Pipe, and Stephanie Strange. Narration by Blair Bathory and Stephanie Strange. Audio edited and mixed by Fitz Harris. Additional audio editing by Calvin Linderman. Art and graphics by Irma Richardson. Produced by Anna Villalobos. Executive produced by Gail Gilman. Music by Sapphire Sindalo and Calvin Linderman.
What's the next one? Let's see, where's the next one? Oh, I actually keep up to date with Snarled when I normally don't. Interesting. Jeez, this is taking a lot more frames than I thought it would. I mean, just look how happy my persona is just after ripping a hole in reality for a few seconds. Too many frames or details when you plan on it being simple. Yeah, I gotta hurry up because I don't want to waste too much time on this. Because there are other things I want to do. Because I gotta get this done before Halloween. Because I hope to post this on Halloween. so I have to hurry up. I think I have enough motivation to continue working on my random Condi art project now. Thanks, Ken. What's Condi? Or candy? Was it candy? Am I just being dumb? I don't know. Yeah, I feel like the feeling of opening a reality hole to look or bring things through. Who wouldn't be happy about that? It's an aesthetic. Okay. It's also pronounced candy, but it's spelled candy. Okay. I literally do it all the time. Reality holes are the best. Yeah, but does ripping open reality look like this, I guess? Does reality bending look like this? Just bah! I'm good now. Sometimes. Pegasus go pop. She's the avatar. My mind just won't forget the people bothering you. You go do what you need to do. Okay. My ideas about Ellie should be the one who's telling Pan the truth about how he has done with the previous crew. Okay. I'm okay now. Seriously though, I'm fine now. She had to rip a hole in reality to summon her OCs from whatever they were doing to be like, hey, it's photo time. Photo time, guys. I need you here. I'm gonna rip you from whatever you're doing to be here. Can you do it again, please? You'll see it again over and over when I finish the TikTok and / post it on YouTube. What's your favorite food? Dragon paper. My favorite food, I guess I'd have to go with my comfort food, which would be Simon, I guess, which is the Hawaiian local version of ramen. Netflix exists. You saying it is funnier though. No. I'm too embarrassed now. I don't want to anymore. The only child on the ship? Eh, I'll rewind the video. Okay. But guys, thankfully my new friends are so much more better than my older ones. That's good to hear. What's your favorite anime? I haven't watched anime in a while because nothing really caught my attention. But I guess my favorite anime that I like to revisit every once in a while is Hoseki no Kuni. But there was one anime that I thought was pretty fun to watch for a time, and that was like Sugar Apple Fairy Tale. It was a very cute one, even if it was like very, very basic. Romance story. And you're good artist. Thank you. Well, that's Land of the Lustrous Pegasus. Yeah, Land of the Lustrous was a pretty fun anime to watch, and I like revisiting it every once in a while. Well, I just remembered I finally got a costume for my Welcome Home OC. Nice! He's going to be an angel. That's adorable. Do you have a dog? My parents used to have dogs, but they both passed away. Then I had my own cat. She passed away not too long ago. And now we have 2 new kittens. I just heard something outside of my house, and it sounded like a dog getting hurt. Oh no! One Piece has a whole lot of episodes, and my brother watched all of it. Oh boy. I wish Studio Orange would have a second season, along with Trigun Stampede. I think Trigun is going to have a second season, I'm pretty sure. I could be very much wrong. But at least that's what I hear, there's going to be a second season for Trigun. But yeah, I wish they did second season for Hoseki no Kuni. But at least the manga finished, so you can always just read the manga to see what happens. I have so many favorite animes that I can't choose. It'd be like that when there's so many good shows, you just can't pick one. Well, is on hiatus again, but it's ending soon. Huh, I could have sworn it ended. Oh well. I don't know, how do you feel about it so far? I feel like Foss got the short end of the stick. My favorite anime is Demon Slayer and Sailor Moon, My Hero Academia. Nice. Me and my friends are making a story of ROCs. It's a lot, like a lot. Sounds like you're having fun though, at least. Oh boy, it sure took forever to just make these trees. I made Wally cookie, but then ate it. Oh no, it's like Cookie Run Kingdom all over again. Traumatizing anesthesia. I'm having fun mostly. I heard an owl. I heard a howl outside. I have no clue if there's a dog outside or something. Well, if you don't feel safe, do not investigate. No, but I wish you and your friends luck on your storyline. I posted a cookie of how I looked. Okay. It was a bad idea to watch scary videos in the morning. In the morning? For me, it's watching scary movies or listening to scary stuff when it's dark. Looking good on this background. Thank you. I'm going too hard for something that was supposed to be simple. Saying this because sometimes when I watch scary stuff, I get nightmares. Like the Tales doll nightmares. Yeah. That's why when it gets to a certain point in darkness, I'm just like, nope, no scary stuff for you, or else you're just never gonna go to sleep. Are we going to have a night house? Yes, we will. I guess we should call it soon, in 6 minutes. At least I want to finish this background before I end the stream to start the night owl stream after I eat. I didn't eat yet. Let me finish this first. Okay, I have stuff I need to finish anyway. Alright. Finish, then go eat. I'm not having another Black Wolf scenario. I mean, I'm not starving myself. I did have lunch, so I am eating my, like, standard meals each day. I normally eat at 6 o'clock, so you're fine in my opinion. I think I need to line this up a bit better. I wish I can blur this some more. There we go, that might help it a bit. Just take this. Darker around the edges. I think that's about it. I still don't like the moon. The moon flat out sucks. But I'll call it here then. Alright guys, so thanks for hanging out with me for this long. Oh. Once I opened up to my friend that I was depressed and he started. Yikes. If you guys can make it to the night owl stream, I hope to see you there. But till then, after I go eat, see you guys soon. But I'll just take the thank you. Bye. Bye, everyone.